Hey, welcome into Hand Raise, guys. This is the live stream link. I'll get the show started, or Chase will get the show started. One of us will get the damn show started. I don't know.
I feel like we're both capable.
We got stuff going on. Got stuff. We're doing things. It's been an interesting day and afternoon. We got Raiders, Vikings playing football. I assume that's in Allegiant. Have I told you how awesome Allegiant is, by the way?
You did, because we were talking about UNLV, and you said that if the Las Vegas Bowl or whatever was there, it was prime.
Yeah, Raiders, Vikings on our TV. So we'll get to that. It looks like there's a lot of college soccer. Ole Miss is playing tonight.
Their openers against Southeastern Louisiana tonight.
I saw where Ole Miss was up 1-0. I just looked up right there, and I saw where there was Arkansas, Vanderbilt, Texas Tech, and Memphis.
Okay, can we do this? So we've got that's the Billikens. That's St. Louis against Arkansas. Who is Vanderbilt playing?
Evansville.
That's Evansville's logo?
Really? It appears
that was going to be my guess, but that did not look like their
Troy is playing.
Their mascot
Texas.
is?
Evansville is the Aces.
The Purple Aces, that is correct, okay. Yes.
Troy and Texas Tech, Arkansas, Little Rock, and Memphis at the very minimum on women's soccer. It's kind of, you know what, that, honest to God, that makes me feel like we've gotten to fall more than a lot of the other stuff.
I will say that, I was sitting yesterday and I got the notes or whatever package for Ole Miss soccer starting tomorrow. It goes, oh, we have games. So now there's games. So we're here. It's all good.
Oh, you know what? We can get Bears Seahawks.
Wait, when you get a chance to watch Justin Fields, you have to watch Justin Fields. I thought he's playing today, though, probably.
He needs to play all he can play.
Well, they got to save him. Got to make sure he's okay.
So we get Bears. For some reason, I'm having an ESPN issue, and I don't know what that is, but
It says select broadcast. You just get to choose. You get to watch it in Spanish. You chose the
Spanish. Yeah,
but
see, it says unable to play video.
Oh.
Author.
Not authenticated.
Yeah, and I don't know what the deal is.
Oh.
So, beats me.
So we're not going to get it tonight?
Let's see if we try a soccer game and see what happens. Let's just go to the first women's Wisconsin TCU. Let's see what happens.
He chose the Big Ten school. I know we're all shocked.
See?
Get that.
It's a weird deal. I don't understand it. Earlier today, I tried to watch a Little League World Series game, and it wouldn't let me watch it. So there's something going on. Maybe if it's on, I don't know. Beats me.
Why does TCU's uniforms have that color in it? Is that one of their colors? What is the outline? It's like violet, not purple.
I don't know. Could be that screen too. Anyway, we're gonna get rolling here in a minute.
Also, what's Riff Realm? Asking questions.
I don't know.
Look.
You're asking me things I don't know.
Okay.
So we'll get started with the audio here in a moment. Thanks to everybody for being in the stream. We got a lot of stuff up on the channel today. Let's see. We have our podcast from this morning. Mind on My Money is up as well. And McCready and Siskey is up as well. And
I am currently loading a Rippy Wrights. He does opponent previews, already kicking off football season. He talks to Brody Miller of The Athletic on Brian Kelly and his LSU Tigers.
Okay.
That is there as well.
We're talking Kentucky early next week.
We're going to talk to Kyle Tucker of The Athletic on Tuesday morning at the top of the hour that we would normally start the show. That is correct. We will talk Kentucky football. We'll get you ready for the Wildcats that Ole Miss faces in Week 5. And then since we have him, I need to know what's going on with Cal and Stoops and the whole Kentucky basketball situation.
For sure.
So we have that as well.
All right, so we got Bears Seahawks. I was told that Raiders game was a replay. So we got Bears Seahawks in Seattle. Matt Eberflus, the first-year head coach of the Bears, there on the screen. So, all right, we'll get rolling. Got a couple questions already. Memphis Rebel, Kyle Wilson. We'll get to those in the actual podcast. So give me a minute. Let me get this thing started. I thought I had set up a file, but I had not. But that's not going to take but a second. What is today? The 19th.
Today is the 18th.
18th. Not that it would have mattered for a file purpose.
It will be the 19th. Fine though, if you'd like it to be.
It's fine. You ready to roll?
Yep, sure. Welcome in Thursday night, Hand Raise Guys, Oxford Exxon podcast. Chase Parham, Neal, McCready, Clark Ford studio here with you. We got the Seahawks and the Bears up on the television. We got you guys that are in the stream here watching us live. We'll take your calls here in a little while. We'll talk to Tyler Siskey about Ole Miss's scrimmage last Saturday. He knows more football than Neal and I combined, so we'll see what he thought versus what we thought from last Saturday. It was open to the public and the media. A lot of stuff on MPW Digital on the podcast feed today. So check in. This will be the Friday morning edition of the podcast as well. So
Hand Raised Guys brought to you by Comer Heating and Air,
yes.
Southern Air Conditioning and Heating. Same great products, same great services. You guys know the drill by now. It's hot right now, but the cool weather supposedly will come later in the fall. You want to make sure at some point this fall that heating system is ready to roll. You know how it smells terrible when you first turn it on, and sometimes that's a sign of a problem. You can get ahead of that problem by getting in touch with Comer, getting in touch with Southern. If you live in the Oxford, Tupelo area, get in touch with Comer, 662-801-1777. If you live in the Memphis area, Hernando, South Haven, Olive Branch, pick your town, Horn Lake, get in touch with the people at Southern, 662-429-4429. Great service, great people. They're going to take care of you. Make sure you tell them that you heard about them here on MPW Digital. I was looking for the Ole Miss game. I haven't.
Do you have a way to get
it
Braves Mets on this TV? Is that doable?
What channel would that be?
I have no idea. I'm just seeing Twitter is all.
Ole Miss is up 3-0 at the half, by the way. So
like their chances against the Lions tonight.
Looks like they've got that under control. Yeah, I'll look for Braves Mets while we get rolling.
Okay.
We're going to get Tyler Siskey on in a minute. We're going to talk some his observations from the scrimmage on Saturday. He was there. I have this NCAA letter. Have you seen this?
Mm-mm.
So the NCAA sent out a letter today to its member institutions. Someone surreptitiously sent me a copy.
Division I, Power 5, everybody. What are we talking about?
It appears to be, might be everybody, but it's directed to Division I.
Okay.
And we'll read it in a little bit.
Oh.
It's about NIL and compliance, and they're basically begging people to turn themselves in. Listen, if you're not cheating, I just told somebody this. I told Tyler this a minute ago.
I mean,
if you're not cheating now, it's on you.
It is literally your own fault.
You're just stupid. You're just stupid. Or you are, I don't know what the word would be.
The good little soldier is not going to win this battle. I mean,
if it makes you happy,
maybe you sleep a little better at night.
Maybe so. I mean,
your thread count's going to be a little less than the people that do cheat a little bit. Because it's not even cheating.
No, it's not really cheating. It's just, I don't think I can get Braves Mets. I can get Braves Mets up here if you'd rather watch Braves
I don't
Mets.
care. I don't care. I mean, we don't have to switch away from football.
No, I mean, it's preseason football. It doesn't count.
DeGrom was pitching. I was just curious.
Let's find it.
Okay. What is the channel of the Braves and Mets, guys?
I'll find it here. We got it right here.
Oh, okay.
Do you care which? You can't hear, so it
I
doesn't
can't.
matter.
I couldn't care less. No.
All right, we got Braves. We got the Braves broadcast.
Braves did something well, I guess. They're cheering for a second. So 2-0 Braves.
Oh, how about that?
Against DeGrom.
This is a good uniform game.
You like the road Mets?
I do. I like the road Mets a lot. And I love the Braves home uniform. I've always thought it was terrific.
The Braves have really good suits all the way around. I love their retro baby blues, kind of the royal blue that they wear. It's not really baby. The royal blue. I don't like their navy, like with the navy, the monochromatic navy.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't like that uniform at all.
I like their white. I like their gray, and they have a kind of a cream that I like a lot. And I generally like the Mets uniforms. I know people like to dog
That's an
them.
underrated color scheme, actually. It's okay.
It's good. The Mets have nice suits. The white pinstripe's a good look. The road gray is a good look, and I don't mind their blue top.
No, I'm fine with the blue top.
Yeah.
I got no issue at all with
I
the blue
love
top.
their hat.
It's a good hat.
It is.
I don't know. Does anybody have like really bad uniforms in baseball?
The Rays.
Yeah.
They suck.
They are still bad, aren't they? The Diamondbacks. They have those.
They're awful.
The pewter,
awful.
like teal.
Awful. Belongs in the minor league.
Those are actually the worst there are.
Yeah. Really bad. Seattle has a sneaky good uniform.
And I will say this. I don't like the font and what it looks like, but I like the Rays colors when they wear their more powder jersey.
Okay.
They put that on white pants with the navy hat.
Yeah.
And it's all right. I don't have a problem with that at all. I'm pretty good.
There's some sneaky, fantastic Major League Baseball uniforms.
Not even sneaky.
Pittsburgh, the Phillies.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because you're like outside of the ones we would always talk about. I mean,
San Francisco. It's a great uniform.
Detroit.
Oh,
I like the Tigers.
Are you kidding?
I like the Tigers.
It may be number one. The home Tigers uniform may be number one.
Really?
Oh, dude. It's fantastic.
How do you separate Tigers from Dodgers and Royals?
Do I have to?
Because you're big on the white and the royal blue now.
Yeah, but that Tiger uniform, that navy with the English D, and it's nice and clean. Really good.
The English D is an underrated Major League Baseball
really
logo.
Good. It's really good. Makes you feel like you're going back in time.
Considering they have red and white, I don't like the Angels uniforms.
No, they're fine. But yeah, they don't.
For the color scheme that you have,
well, they
it's a failure.
keep changing it.
I get it's the Miami thing, but the Marlins uniforms are not good.
It's bad.
Because I pulled up a minute ago just to make sure I could see the uniforms. I wasn't following their rankings at all. But this website should be taken and thrown out from whatever else is on it because of this one article. Because they have the Kansas City Royals uniforms 19th.
No.
19th.
That is false. That is false. That is not a true statement.
That is, they have them behind the Padres,
Nope.
who have horrid uniforms.
Nope.
The Padres have horrid uniforms.
Yes. No, that is a false statement. The Royals, in fact, their whole collection of uniforms is fantastic.
It's up in the top 5.
Because the powder blue alternate is great.
I sneaky like the White Sox uniforms.
Yeah, I do too.
Hate the Rockies uniforms.
Yeah, it's fine.
The Brewers have the best logo in baseball to
Yes.
then have some of the worst jerseys in baseball.
Yeah. The
MB is my favorite logo, maybe in sports.
It's fantastic.
But the jerseys are...
Nationals have really good uniforms. It's a good look with the curly W. It's a good, consistent look.
And you like Pittsburgh, you said.
No, I love it. Pittsburgh's home white is just spectacular. It is. It's a great look.
For a team that sucks so bad.
They do suck, but their uniform is great. Got a couple questions. Memphis Rebel says, when will the SEC renegotiate and re-sign their TV deal? They're already negotiating it. When can they do it? It goes into effect in there's 2 more years left on this contract, the 2022 season and the 2023 season. Yeah, like look at that Met uniform. That's fantastic. I love that. And then Kyle says, is chili and soup a cold weather food or all year around food? Cold weather. It's cold weather. You don't want a bowl of chili when it's 97 degrees outside.
But soup is a more generic term. Like, what are we talking about? Are we talking about a stew? Or are we talking about...
I mean,
I'm actually more likely to eat
like tomato
chili
soup
in the summer than I am chicken noodle. Something about chicken noodle is winter to me. That's the one that I'm like, if I was making out the grocery list, I'd never go, hey, let's do the really creamy chicken noodle soup in the middle of August. That doesn't compute.
No.
At all. I eat chicken tortilla soup year round.
Okay. I'm with you there.
Is that okay?
Yeah, but like tomato soup, it's got to be cold outside. It just has to be cold outside. I don't want it in July.
But you don't want the big hearty chili in the middle of the summer.
No. Yet in January, I'm in.
Okay. So yeah, it depends. But chili, okay. I'll go with you. Yeah, it's fine.
Tyler Siskey getting some love in the thread, which reminds me I need to call him here momentarily, get him on. Are we going to try the Skype, or do we just go to the FaceTime, or just do the Skype?
We did the Skype last time, right?
I'll just do that.
Jay Robertson, we did it because it's easier to get hits, but that's probably not the worst idea. Is changing the YouTube feed to BW Digital. I don't know. I have not really thought about it, to be honest. We could do that.
Yeah.
I could do it right now. It kind of slipped my mind.
What is it now? Ole Miss Sports?
It is, yeah.
Can we keep both? That way nobody else can take Ole Miss Sports?
No.
No. Okay.
You have to choose one. This is our secondary name, actually.
All right, I'm going to get Tyler on. Tyler was at Ole Miss scrimmage on Saturday. We'll talk some football.
So you had 3 fillings today. That sounds like that really is not a good day. Yeah, it was not going to come with the Cardinals uniforms.
Their cream uniform is fine. I hate them. I'm sorry. So
you can't even do it?
Right.
How do you Central uniforms?
Cubs, Brewers.
Really?
No. Cubs,
No.
Pirates, Reds, Brewers, Cardinals. You asked me a question. I answered it. I'm not complimenting them. I don't want to compliment them. I don't need to compliment them. I hope they lose. I don't like them. We've won a World Series more recently than they have. Screw them. There you go.
Well, that's true.
I mean, it's like me telling a bunch of people in this thread, hey, compliment Mississippi State's uniforms. Go. Do it.
People go,
Yeah. Just go ahead. Fill me in. Can't do it, huh?
You see they're like retro or whatever they announced, state ones?
Yeah, I saw that. They try too hard with their uniforms. Tyler, how are you?
Hey, brother, how we doing?
Oh, good.
You're live, by the way.
Yeah, you're live, by the way, so you're on. So say something insane.
Hey, Chase, I appreciate the warning. There,
I was not 100% sure by the cadence of your voice that you were aware, so I thought, let's just.
What I was going to say about Mississippi State's uniforms, Mississippi State gets one uniform right. They have a home baseball pinstripe white uniform. That's really nice. And then
I actually like their maroon V-neck, the 80s.
It's okay.
I actually like that as their like Sunday day uniform. Now on Sunday they start trying to wear black and all this stuff.
They try way too hard. You a baseball uniform guy, Tyler?
I am a huge baseball uniform guy.
All right.
I am kind of partial. I'm going with the throwback Braves. I guess I don't know what kind of blue you call it. Baby blue, royal blue. I don't know.
The royal blue.
All right, let's do this. Let's do it this way.
Yeah,
Braves, because Braves, your heart's with the Braves. Braves are disqualified from this competition. Of the other uniforms, which one does it for you?
We're going modern or throwback?
Whatever you want to do. I mean, I don't have rules. I'm the NCAA man. I'm toothless.
I like the Brewers, old school Brewers,
Okay.
but they kind of screwed it up with the recent stuff. I wish they'd do more of the old school stuff with the Brewers. But my all-time favorite, I do have to go here. I like the Pirates, Willie Stargell, pinstripe hat. I'm all about that.
Oh, you like the kind of the square top hat, the flat top.
Yeah, let's go. The bright ass yellow and black pants. That's where I'm at.
1979 World Series was the Pirates with that hat, and the Orioles with the old school uniform that was freaking awesome. That is still kind of awesome. That was a hell of a. I mean, I was too young to fully understand it at the time, but that was a great uniform World Series.
Yeah, that was good stuff.
I was 9 years old.
Good stuff.
At the time, and I have no idea why, but one of my favorite players was the Orioles center fielder, Al Bumbry.
Why in the hell?
I guess I must have had his baseball card, and so I cheered for him. But I remember being upset the night that the Orioles lost to the Pirates in Game 7 because I liked Scott McGregor was the Game 7 starter for the Orioles. I cheered for him. I liked Al Bumbry, Ken Singleton. That team had Doug DeCinces at third base. I liked him. For some reason, I kind of liked the Orioles back then.
Bumbry is in.
Dude, that's going back right there.
Yes, sir.
He was the AL Rookie of the Year, an All-Star, and a World Series champion. Bumbry.
Yeah, he won the World Series.
Chase, were you even alive during that game?
December of '83, Tyler.
So no, because the Orioles won it in October of '83.
Yeah. That is incorrect.
Cal Ripken was a rookie.
I don't remember it either. So
Cal Ripken was a rookie. Eddie Murray was in the early stages of his career. That was man. You talk about the days. I was a Major League Baseball freak back then. I'd get up in the mornings, Monroe News Star, Shreveport Times. I was just digging into box scores. 13 years old. Didn't miss a pitch of that World Series. Orioles, I think Phillies. And then the next year, the Cubs just went on a tear in the National League and came one game away from going to the World Series. But the Tigers beat the Padres.
Oh.
I was kind of brokenhearted.
Remember that one?
Yeah.
Did you watch it? Was it on?
I did watch it, but I watched it with a foul taste in my mouth because the Cubs broke my heart that year.
Okay. Are you watching the Braves, Tyler, while we're talking?
all right, so don't tell me anything. I have it TiVo'd. I'm actually at I guess we call it TiVo, DVR'd. I'm still at the office. I'm in Quick U Studios here in Oxford, Mississippi, trying to fill out some freaking paperwork so we can get paid. Added 2 new clients. Got more paperwork to do. So
who'd you add?
It is what it is.
Can you say who you added?
Yeah, we've added. I guess I'm sitting here doing paperwork for NC State as we speak.
Oh, the Wolfpack. Look at
Wolfpack.
you and Dave Doran together finally.
Oh, God.
Just took a minute.
Hey, it was destiny, Chase. It was destiny. We were meant to be together.
There's 162 of these. If we ruin one, Tyler, is it really that big of a deal? I mean, I know DeGrom's pitching and whatnot, but you'll catch up.
God, what happened to?
Yeah.
What happened to Acuna's?
I mean,
that is. Oh my God.
Look, there have been many fights started in my house about that. So let's chill out. Let's chill out.
Put a tourniquet on that, for the love of God.
All right, that's not like I'm not a fan of many things. You know, I'm not. I mean, I'm not. I have golf, I have NASCAR, and I have the Braves. Can you give me just something?
All right, so you went to the Ole Miss scrimmage on Saturday. We'll start with the obvious. We touched on this a little bit earlier in the week on McCready and Siskey, and I stopped you for 2 reasons. I wanted to save it for tonight, and also because I just don't want that show to become an Ole Miss show, because that gets really repetitive in our network. Not because we have anything against Ole Miss. It's just we have a lot of Ole Miss shows, and so we don't need to add another Ole Miss show. We need to make it a different kind of show. What did you think of the quarterbacks? I know you just saw one practice. You saw about 90 minutes. What did you think of Altmaier versus Dart?
Yeah, like we talked about, to me, and again, this is make sure the fans understand this. I saw 90 minutes. I mean, you and Chase have actually seen more than I have. I've seen 90 minutes. But if that's all I saw from what I saw live, I don't even know why we're having a debate. I thought, and I think you and I have talked about this, and forgive me, it's been a long week. I don't remember if I said this or not, but to me, it appeared that, Dart was a guy that was out there to win the job, and Luke was trying not to lose it. And what I mean by that is, Dart was, his eyes were downfield. He's not afraid to take chances. And when he was in, I know you and I have talked, there's been a lot of debate or whatever about his decision making and things like that. But when he was in the pocket, he was making good decisions in the pocket. Now, I don't know protection wise, there's a lot of things that regardless of how much I watched, I don't know what he's being taught, is he switching protections and things like that, because there was a lot of pressure on him. So did he mess protections up or whatever? I don't know. But while he was in the pocket, he seemed to run the offense really well. And then when he escaped the pocket, that's when you could see some issues to where, taking care of the football and things like that, and ball security issues. But, he looked comfortable running the offense. And then, Luke, all I'd heard from, everybody obviously in this town, but is, he's too conservative, checks it down, too conservative, check it down. And I really didn't see that. I saw him being a little bit indecisive on some shot plays and things like that, and then waiting on routes to come open downfield, but just not pulling the trigger, and then had nowhere else to go with the ball but to check it down. So I think he's probably been, a little indecisive with that, looking to rush a little bit. And then, Kincaid Dent, man, I mean, everybody's throwing the guy away. I mean, he had a good day. I mean, it is what it is. And I know Lane came out and said as much, and I agree. I mean, I thought the guy did a good job, especially with who he was throwing to.
I guess we'll go there though, Tyler, because Neal and I've had this discussion. I mean, it's Kincaid has looked kind of like that for the most part, most of camp, but he hasn't taken any reps with the first team or the second team. And I guess as now sort of a media member as a coach, I mean, what level do we mention him though? Because when he's not even moved up to the top field, if any other position, I don't feel like we would be factoring them in. Whereas we're at least talking about it at the quarterback position. I mean, what do you do when he's not taking reps with the first or the second team?
Chase just called you a media member.
It's fair enough. He does a podcast.
I heard that, Chase. You cursed me out. But no, you're right. I mean, look, and again, it was 90 minutes of what I saw, and I saw Kincaid obviously when he was here, and saw what he was doing. But look, Lane's not a dumbass. Okay, he knows what he's doing at quarterback, especially, and any kind of offensive stuff. But he sees it every day, and so if he's not getting reps with the ones and twos, it's because he's not performing well enough to get reps with the ones and twos. I mean, Lane, there's no Ole Miss fan that wants to win more than Lane Kiffin. So he's not going to not play a guy. He doesn't care who it is. He's going to play the best guy that gives him the best chance to win. And if he's not getting reps with the ones and twos, it's because for however long, for 2 years now, he hasn't done anything to show that he deserves
those. You had a lot of praise for the running backs. There's a bunch of guys out there that all sort of look the part. What did you see from them?
And, I can't remember. I know there's probably somebody that's, can remember the 1960 national championship game that can probably tell me a little bit better. But in my recent memory, since I've been alive, I don't know if I've seen a more talented room at this university. Extreme talent. They're going to have, and with depth. And at that position in this league, that room is good enough to win big. They have plenty of talent. With Evans, with Judkins, with Bentley, with Bullock. I mean, you got 4 guys that could play anywhere in this league, and I really do mean that, anywhere. Evans is special. I think I've seen him for a long time now. I think he has unbelievable talent. Bullock was a kid, obviously, we recruited when I was there from Columbia. I've seen him grow up, obviously, know where he's at. Quinshawn, I've seen his high school recruitment through what I do in my business. Phenomenal player. And then Bentley's probably the one that I know the least amount about from a coach standpoint, but probably was one of the most impressive guys out there. I think they got some depth. They did a really good job getting him here. They definitely got options.
I'm curious to get your thoughts on something because I've talked to some people around the program, inside the program. They're not just thrilled yet with wide receiver. Some of that is they're kind of waiting for somebody or 3 bodies to step up and be the guy. And Jalen Robinson's had some injuries in the preseason camp. Is it hard to develop wide receiver depth / chemistry / stars when you don't really know who your quarterback is?
Yes and no. That's a tricky question with not knowing who your quarterback is. I mean, the receivers are going to be who they are. I've been coaching receivers for a long time. You go through this and not knowing who your quarterback is going to be, and then you name one. But I mean, they're going to they get plenty of reps with both guys, or really all 3 guys, to develop chemistry throughout the year. So I don't think the chemistry is going to be a problem. And I don't mean to go too. I guess that's why we're on the show talking about it. I don't mean to go too coachy, but my concern would be knowing what's coming, because if I'm a defensive coach and I can go ahead and tell you it's coming, it's going to come early and often. There's no way I'm playing too high with these guys. I mean, too high safeties. I'm bringing an extra body in the box, and I'm going to force the quarterbacks to beat you. Well, when that happens, you're going to get a ton of man coverage, and so you have to be able to beat that within separation. And that's the one thing, who was it that wasn't playing? Robinson didn't play on, wasn't out there, so I didn't get a chance to see him. I work with Dave Shoemate that just joined us here at Quick U. He came from Central Florida, so he's very familiar. Talk about how great he was, but really struggling getting open versus man coverage. And I'm not talking about, they're just big. They're big body guys that don't create a lot of separation. And they're going to have to big body people and out muscle people with Mingo and with Heath and those guys. And they're going to be forced to make plays. And especially when the competition gets a little stouter later on in the season, people aren't going to let these running backs run up down the field. And, as talented as this room is, Lane's not going to just be hard-headed and run into a brick wall. If they're playing down, he's going to throw the ball and he's going to take the top off, and he's been able to do that the first 2 years. He's going to have to do it again, and the receivers are going to have to step up and get open and make plays to move the offense.
What'd you see on the lines of scrimmage?
Offensively, I think the first 5 are going to be really good. Depth is probably, if I had a concern. up front offense will definitely be depth. There seemed to be some issues when the young bucks were in there. And look, this is the SEC. You're going to have to play more than 5 offensive linemen during the season. It just is what it is. And so they're going to have to work a little bit there. With Broker not playing, you saw some of that show up. When Caleb Warren was not with the second team, there was some issues there at center. Depth of the offensive line, I think, is going to be a thing to watch for. On the flip side, on the defensive line, look, I think they've done a great job there. It was very, and they deserve credit here. I'll call a spade, credit's due where it's due. They went from basically, we were recruiting to a 3-down system. They initially wanted to go to a 4-down system, but didn't have enough dudes. And so they really spent a lot of time getting guys in here. And defensive line-wise, there's not really, I wouldn't say like a marquee player, but there's just so much quality depth that's going to pay off in the long run. So now in the fourth quarter, you're going to have fresh guys rolling in there, and it's going to work out to be where you feel like you do have dudes, and guys are going to be able to make plays because they're going to be fresh. But they're really deep on the defensive line, probably as deep as it's been in a long time.
There's been a concern throughout the camp, throughout the summer, about linebackers. They're trying different people. They're trying Damon Clowney. They're trying
Brandon Mack.
They're just trying dudes. They were
moving safeties up, basically.
Yeah, they were actively searching the portal all summer. They've got Troy Brown, who will have a show here on the MPW Digital Network all season. But other than that, I don't know that they feel super about it. Again, with one practice, you were watching a lot. What'd you see there?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. There's concerns there. There were, several plays to where, and again, I don't mean to get too coachy and on everybody, but where the backer position was really late to react and fit. We call fitting the gap or fitting their responsibility. They were late on fits, and the offensive line was able to get to the second level too easy, I guess would probably be the right way to say it, especially with a defensive line that was in there. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think there's going to be some issues there. They got to find those. And the chase to what you were saying with bringing the safeties down, I think they're going to have to do that. But again, where the problem comes in is now you're getting smaller. Okay. And then when you start getting in the league play and you're bringing a bunch of small dudes in there, the other teams are going to turn it into physics problems, and they're just going to, run at you. And can you stop it? So that will be the first big test, in league play, is somebody just lining it up and running it right at them. Now, the defense line's really good. You can roll some guys in there and keep guys off the backers, but that's going to be a test and to see how that works early, to see, can they keep the, go tempo and keep the smaller guys on the field and then just run at them. That's what I would do.
So, I mean, I know it's one practice. I know it's 90 minutes, and I get all those things. But did any of the linebackers, I mean, I had to say stick out more than the other. But, I mean, how do you sort of handicap what they do there at this point?
Recruit.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, nothing I can help them with right now. But not a quick U client. Yeah, I don't know, man. They got to figure out schematically. You can move guys around, you can create movements, but again, at the end of the day, they're going to get caught some there. Just a matter of can they improve as we go along.
They as good on the back end as they think they are? Because they think they're pretty good back there. They got a bunch of bodies.
Well, again, that's like why it's the equation of watching a scrimmage, right? Where you're worried about, the receivers, man, they're not getting a lot of separation, things like that. Well, it's usually because the defense is covering them up. So it's kind of one of those scrimmages where either the receivers are not very good and the DBs are really good, or both of them stink. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're hoping that they did a great job. I thought man coverage-wise, I think I only saw, and again, I don't have the tape. I'm sure there were several others watching it, but just live, I can only remember one time, and I think that was Dennis Jackson beat battle on a go route pretty good off the line and press coverage. But besides that, in man coverage or any matchup situation in zone, I thought the DBs did a great job covering. And to that point, a lot of the completions that the quarterbacks had were in zone coverage underneath, in that backer window, and that's what we were talking about just a second ago, Chase. I think they may have to go a little bit smaller in there you're almost damned if you do, damned if you don't, but you gotta pick your poison.
Are you better off, though, doing something like that where you move Tennyson up to basically play a linebacker or, and other have safeties? I just mean literally move them around where they play that position almost. And I know, like I said, you're going to have that physics problem, but that's better off than somebody who's literally not in the right place, right?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Yeah, you'd rather them be in the right place. And we survived here in 12, I think. I'm getting old, so whatever my first year with Freeze was in 12.
That's right.
With Denzel Condici in there, right? Denzel's a small guy, and he came here. He was supposed to be a safety and all that stuff, and he blew it up in there and played physical and played out of his mind. We didn't have any backers back then either. So, somebody's going to get in there and become a crazy person and sacrifice their body a lot to, clog some, play dirty, man. Just clog it up and until the big boys get there. But yeah, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. If you go small, you're going to get ran at. If you go big, you're going to get thrown at. So it's pick your poison.
We say it all the time. That 2012 job was a remarkable coaching job. That team had no business winning 7 games.
Yeah, maybe the worst football team I've ever been a part of, as far as talent. We had like 2.5 SEC players on that team. It was, I mean, I know everybody jokes and they got their things. I know Neal's going to get a chuckle out of this, but they really should build a statue of Hugh Freeze after that 2012 year. Just call it a day.
There's no question about it. I mean, halftime of the opener, you trailed Central Arkansas.
I was there.
Yeah, I mean,
not a fun halftime speech.
I mean, I remember watching that game going, boy.
What did he say at the half?
I don't remember exactly. I just remember him. We have the coaches' locker room right there. We'd always get together, and remind you, we came from Arkansas State, so we're very familiar with Central Arkansas. And it was something to the effect of, if this was last year, it'd be 53-0 good guys, and something that he was not very happy. I think he may came to the closest I've heard him cussing in a long time. He was not very happy. But he said we better get it figured out, or we're going to be unemployed pretty quick around here. So
yeah,
we got to figure it out.
Yeah, 20-14 at halftime.
Yeah.
Was that the first game?
It was game 1.
The final was 49-27. Yeah, your second game was UTEP when Trey got.
Yes. Oh yeah, we talked about that. Yeah. That's my dude. You got it, like Chase. The thing that's the best part is you got to love violence, man. I choose violence. Trey's my guy. Got to love contact, and he's what they're all about. But that's how we do it, baby. Trey probably had like 3 reigns before that game, I imagine.
You think so? Yeah, it makes sense.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Are you still drinking? Are you still drinking rain here at 7:44 at night?
No, the thermogenic. The one thing that's a one-day a deal.
Yeah.
If you go more than one, I can't be responsible.
Yeah,
that's on the warning label.
I've enjoyed my rains, but I have to stop at 1. I can't move to a second rain. That would lead to a 3 a.m. I don't know whether I go for a run at 3 a.m. or come in here and start working, but I'd do something.
Yeah, I will. If I dabble in more than one, it's usually a little mixer with a little cat head, and cap it off the night.
Yeah.
That's about when I double it up.
And upper and a downer there, kind of like a Red Bull and vodka back in the day.
Dude, the worst. If you really get after it drinking those things, you will hate yourself the next morning. It's not a good recipe.
It looks like they've got Acuna stabilized on the field. So,
dude, stop! You're killing me. You can't do that.
Hey, do you want to pay DeGrom next year? Do you want to say the hell with it for 2 years or what?
I mean, he might as well. Hey, how about this? And I know you're a baseball guy, Chase, and I know we're talking football, but I'm a Braves fan. Did you see where Alex and he has paid Riley, all these Acuna, and now
Harris.
My new guy. Yeah, Harris. All of their contracts combined, less than what they're paying Trout.
He's done a remarkable job. I don't know how they find these guys who all agree to these long-term deals early in their careers, but it's remarkable management.
If you can get it, lock it up.
Oh, it's brilliant. And the young guys make a lot more. Oh, they make a lot more now than they would have made. Now they're giving up some money on the back end potentially, but they get the security up front, and it's a win-win for everybody.
Oh yeah, imagine what Ronnie Acuna gets at the end of the year. Like, what is he getting if he's a free agent?
$40 million.
He gets whatever he wants.
He gets $40 a year.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm fascinated, honestly. As a Cubs fan, I've said this. If I'm the Cubs, and I don't think Jacob deGrom wants to play for the Cubs, so I don't think it's going to matter. But if I'm the Cubs, I call him his agent and I offer a 2-year, $110 million deal. No joke. I do.
Dude, I don't care what I really don't care what it takes. I really don't. I mean, if I have to donate to the fund, I don't care if it's $200 million. I'd pay deGrom whatever he wants. He's the most dominant pitcher in the game, and it's not even close.
Yeah,
I mean, the guy's unbelievable.
If I'm the Cubs and he's not pitching in my uniform next year, it's because somebody offered him $60 million a year. I kid you not. I literally just go up to him and go, for 2 years, I'll give you $55 million a year.
Yeah, I mean, if you got to have a portion of beer sales, hot dog sales, whatever it takes, get him in Atlanta, and I'll be happy.
Hey, man, appreciate your time. Enjoyed the show today. People can listen to it. McCready and Siskey, powered by Rain Total Body Fuel. It was episode number 9. We'll be doing this twice a week from now forward.
That's it, brother.
Talk to you on Monday. Have a good weekend.
All right, brother. Take care.
That was Tyler Siskey. All right, so I'm going to find this NCAA letter. You got to hear this.
Okay, go ahead.
You'll enjoy this. I got to find my glasses. I know
You're all like wrapped up.
Yeah, I'm getting old. I get it. It is what it is. And I need glasses. I need.
That was a really loud pop.
I need reader glasses to read. It's over. All right, this is from the NCAA. Colleagues, on behalf of NCAA member schools, the national office is working hard to pursue potential violations related to the interim name, image, and likeness policy, NIL. The enforcement staff understands the need for action and the urgency in this environment. Accordingly, below is a brief update regarding the enforcement staff's work. As a reminder, the NCAA Division I Board of Directors wanted student-athletes to have NIL opportunities as soon as possible, while also navigating the varying state laws. Okay. The board continues to monitor the NIL landscape and appointed a council working group to determine whether modifications should be made or additional guidance should be provided. Okay. The interim policy maintains expectations that NCAA members adhere to key principles of college athletics and abide by rules regarding inducements, benefits, contacts, recruiting, etc. Protecting the environment starts with member schools following self-regulating requirements. To achieve success and protect fair competition from abuses, member cooperation and communication with the NCAA enforcement staff is imperative when self-regulating requirements fail. As always, much of enforcement's work is known only to parties involved in a confidential investigation. We conduct most of our business with schools, conferences, and others without public visibility. We also recognize the need for transparency in action, so we operate every day with genuine urgency on behalf of the association with a capital A. We're balancing that charge with the need to respect the interests of individual schools and safeguards in the infractions process. That balance helps us separate substantiated rumors from widely publicized rumors that our investigators demonstrate are not true. To those ends, the enforcement staff is actively investigating potential abuses of NIL transactions and will allege any substantiated concerns as soon as possible. We also constantly review new reports of tampering, can't even say it without laughing, recruiting inducements, impermissible benefits, impermissible recruiters, and other related behaviors. We engage across the membership and pursue actionable leads aggressively. As member schools know, our focus is not on targeting student athletes, no, but rather the actors who pose a threat to the integrity of college sports. The integrity, Chase. Investigations can be challenging, and the enforcement staff needs help. They need help from member schools. Specific information about contacts or transactions will expedite investigations and help us secure truthful accounts. We understand why coaches and student athletes are reluctant to provide documentary evidence and details on the record, but it's critically important in our effort to protect compliant programs. Candidly, we need these materials because too many NIL arrangements are not made in the sunshine, and getting accurate information is difficult. Individuals should contact the enforcement staff directly, and any information can be provided anonymously. As enforcement works on behalf of member institutions and student athletes, we ask for your help in return. They want their help. Together, we can root out unfair behaviors while encouraging healthy NIL opportunities. Signed, Stan Wilcox, Executive Vice President of Regulatory Affairs, and John Duncan, Vice President of Enforcement.
Oh, I remember him.
There you have it. They need help.
Look, if everybody would just play by the damn rules and turn themselves in, we wouldn't have a problem. Ever. That's true.
At this point,
I forgot about John Duncan.
If you're not just cheating wildly, you're an idiot. Because they just admitted they have nothing. They need you to self-report. They want you to snitch. And in today's environment, nobody is snitching. Because
why the hell would you snitch?
Everybody's doing stuff.
Everybody's going 86.
I mean, how do you even keep up? How do you keep up with NIL if you're a school?
Yeah, it's a good point. It was way too long. Like what they said could have said.
I felt like I read it particularly well. I thought it was a good reading.
But what was said could have been said in half that at best. Basically said, hey, guys, just stop and turn yourselves in.
Turn yourselves in. And also turn in everybody else.
Where's NCAA Emily these days? What
I think she left.
For what? What's her next career?
I'm sure some PR gig in D.C. somewhere.
You think so?
Probably.
Well, she wasn't particularly good at her last position.
The Apostles' Creed is a lot longer than that.
Yeah, former NCAA PR team member. Account is inactive.
Yeah, she bolted.
She left in November of 2020.
She probably felt bad. She probably felt bad when I made fun of her.
We did give her pure hell there for
they deserved it.
A few days. Oh, let's see. She is working. Let's see if this is her. There is an Emily James. I'm not sure if it's her or not, but it probably is. Oh yeah, it is. She I think she maybe is working for the AARP now.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Is she based in D.C.? Tell me it's D.C.
If it's the person on the page, it says Washington District of Columbia.
I knew it.
I mean, like, I now I'm a little pissed. Like, hold on, I got to find this link somewhere else where I can.
I know these people.
You think she wanted to go to D.C.?
Yeah, these people are all the same.
And
so they walk around in echo chambers.
You think so?
Yeah, I don't think it. I know it. It's why the stuff happens.
She is incredibly active on LinkedIn. Who the hell is still active like this on LinkedIn?
I don't know.
I mean, holy hell. I have to log in to be able to see her complete thing. It's going to take me a minute.
Yeah, like Cole says, they're not protecting the kids. They're losing losing control. They have no control. Basically, right now, it's just kind of the wild, wild west, and everybody is being asked to essentially, what's the word I'm looking for? Just sort of honor the rules. That's the word. It's an honor system.
Well, those turn out real well.
And so what you have coming up is some rules, and you'll hear this on McCready and Siskey with Tyler. You have some rules that basically are just going to lead to the wildest level of tampering. I mean, the tampering is going to be insane in the next few months. Like this football season. And if you're not tampering with other people's rosters, you're kind of missing an opportunity. And your roster is getting tampered. Yes. You can just go ahead and bet that your team's roster is being tampered with and your coaching staff is tampering with other rosters.
All the answers are yes.
Yes, it's all happening.
If anyone can tamper in any direction, that is what
when the guy posts
down.
something on the message board bitching about somebody tampering with Ole Miss players, it's like, yeah. And your coaches are
some dude at North Carolina could say the same thing.
Yeah, and some cat at Purdue is being tampered. Yeah, and all these coaches
somewhere in Illinois Metroport because those Ole Miss jackasses.
Yeah, it's just it's where we are.
Those SEC teams just think they can come in. Yeah, that's exactly what you're getting over there.
That's it. Everyone's doing it.
Emily James, senior advisor for external relations with the AARP, Washington D.C. She spent 9 years and 6 months with the NCAA. Imagine going to those offices and hanging out with those schlubs for 9 years and 6 months.
Nope.
Managed communications for high-profile college sports issues, including litigation, regulatory affairs, and government relations.
That day that the guy pulled me aside in Atlanta, I realized you people work. Mm-hmm. You people are different. But boy, they had a thing for freeze.
Looks like she started college at TCU and then graduated from Indiana.
Oh. So she was a transfer portal.
Yeah. I think she did the podcast now that she's been gone for a year and a half.
I'm going to guess not.
Thinking no. Thinking that's not going to be a thing.
I don't like our chances to get Emily on the show.
Okay.
Any other thoughts on stuff today? Have you watched? We'll get into it a little bit. Have you watched any of the Manti Te'o?
No. You're going to have to convince me that it is worth my time. I'll be honest. He does not compel me that much from a standpoint of being interested.
The only thing interesting about it so far, I've watched episode 1. It's just 2 series. It's just 2 episodes. I've watched the first one. I've got the second queued up. The interesting thing is that there's this disclaimer that they play before the show that all of the people that were interviewed for the show at the time of the interviews did not know that it's like Renea Tuiasosopo, which is she's related she to Marcus the Tuiasosopos.
I think they get their Christmas cards right. Just an S.
Yeah. They did not know that. I guess she identified as a transgender female at the time of the interviews. And she uses that to tie this all together today. Her journey of becoming a female, she uses that as an excuse for the catfishing. That it was just part of her journey into becoming a woman.
Again, not compelled. That didn't help.
It's and look, there's no spoilers. This happened a long time ago. The one thing that strikes you is like, how did this guy, who was an All-American linebacker, was a Heisman candidate?
He was.
Played for a team that played for the national championship.
Yeah.
How did this guy not figure out?
I mean, is that what we settled on, was just naivete?
I guess. Like, how did you never suspect? She never let him see her. He kept saying he wanted to go out and meet her. No.
Yeah.
Her FaceTime never worked.
At some point.
Just
He got married in 2020.
Yeah, he seems like he's okay now, but he screwed her up. He screwed him up. He, she, they, whatever. It was, I mean, you walk away from episode 1 kind of feeling sorry for him, Manti, but at the same time just going, man.
Oh, it was Deadspin.
You're the biggest guy on campus. You can conceivably get a date there at Notre Dame. But he was Samoan, Polynesian, came from that culture. There wasn't much of that culture in South Bend, Indiana. And so Lene felt like home. We've talked about this with Jordan Tamu and others. That is a unique culture. It is a tight-knit family bond culture. Very polite. Very, what's the word I'm looking for? Respectful.
Yeah, because it's not really trusting, but there is a certain amount of unity to it.
Yeah, I mean, they, like, if you ever talk to Jordan Tamu, you're always struck with how respectful he is. Always. And so, I don't know, maybe it was just in his nature to be trusting, to be respectful, to believe. And that account, that Facebook account that lured him in, had connections that he knew from that community.
I forgot that it was Deadspin that broke all that. During an era where Deadspin was actually sort of normal, and I mean, those blogs back then were fairly powerful between them and the Big Lead. And
yeah.
That was a time period where they had stuff. I mean,
and they went after him. I mean, they accused him of being part of it, and he just wasn't. He just wasn't. And then there was no real support system at Notre Dame to help him with.
He finally sat down with Jeremy Schaap and admitted to basically lying to people. And
well, he lied to his own. He lied to his own father.
Yeah,
because his father said, "Have you met this girl?" And he said that he had when he hadn't, because he knew his father would be like, "What is wrong with you? You're falling in love with some girl that you've never met?" Cole says he had bad eye discipline.
It's true.
For as good of a linebacker as he was, he did have bad eye discipline. He had his eyes in the wrong places.
Played voicemails on the Dr. Phil show. See, I don't even remember some of this. But
the voicemails sound very female. So when he heard her voice, his voice, he sounded like a girl. Because his friends would hear the voice, like on speakerphone and stuff. And then he had family members call. It was just bizarre. I mean, just crazy. So I'll watch episode 2 and be an hour of my life that I can't get back, but I'm sucked in at this point.
How long are the episodes?
The first one was like a little over an hour. It's fine, okay. Whatever. I mean, I've wasted hours doing worse things.
Okay.
Anything else before we go to the phones? You got anything else you want to get to? Anything on your mind?
I mean, that I haven't talked about in the last 8.5 hours this week. No, I mean, I still am a little. What's the word? We've talked so much about this scrimmage and this not. I mean, Lane said it was important, so by God, it's very important.
He did.
It's somewhere between not 1 of 15 and not the only thing that mattered over the course of the over the course of camp. That I keep coming back to the one press conference that Lane did where he said that you need to get it right, that he made the wrong decision one time and that was the worst thing he could do. It's just gut, but they need to name this quarterback in the next week. And frankly, a few days. I understand what Tyler said, and look, they know way more than I do, but there is something to some continuity. Just from I told this to Rippy today, just a leadership standpoint of knowing who the dude is. Because you went through the whole summer with, hey, this guy runs 7-on-7 in this way, or this guy runs 7-on-7 this way. He's the leader one day, the next. Like, a team with so many new guys needs the dude. And it's a little weird when they don't have the dude.
I agree completely. They scrimmage Saturday. I assume we'll get Lane on Monday or Tuesday of next week. I don't remember the schedule off the top of my head. But I think that's a fair question on Monday or Tuesday, whenever we talk to Lane again. Hey, do you know who your quarterback will be against Troy? And if his answer is yes, but I don't feel like saying it, I think the follow-up question is, well, what is it that's preventing you from announcing it? And if he says, no, I don't, I actually will believe him and say, are you concerned that here we are on August the 20 whatever and you don't know who your quarterback is? Does that concern you? Because at some point, the old adage, the cliche about if you have two quarterbacks, you don't have one, I'm not saying that that rings completely true, but it has a ring of truth to it. Do you agree? Like last year, there was no doubt who the damn quarterback was.
Well, it doesn't mean you're going to suck at the position, but it does mean you don't have a leader. They're not looking to somebody.
Well, it also means that no one's just gone out and claimed the job day after day after day.
Yeah, and it's not like
listen, I heard from someone today who said, yeah, Dart won the scrimmage on Saturday, but he hadn't won the practices before that and didn't win a couple of the practices after that. You know, like there's a reason that Luke keeps getting number one snaps. It's because they just don't know yet, which begins to get you into that area of,
Well, look, I guess I'm teasing Brian's show here because I said this here too, but I think it's relevant to this conversation just in a minimal way. I thought way more about it today, but I know this is stupid, and I get he's not going to do it, and I get that I probably wouldn't do it either. But a lot of their issues, you know, Luke has an issue, like Tyler said. It's because it's what's funny. Tyler's right, and when he said what he saw, that's what I've seen all camp. I did not convey it very well. Luke has checked down because of indecision. It's not that he immediately doesn't read his correct read and then just throws it to the check down guy.
right.
It's that he doesn't trust something down the field and then checks it off, which does mean he's checking it off all the time, but it's not that he's just looking to do that.
Right.
He's not trusting something. And then both those guys on Saturday, and in a lot of the team stuff we've seen, they haven't done a very good job of keeping their eyes downfield, making plays, and doing something that, frankly, Luke, I thought did an okay job in the Sugar Bowl. That was his best thing, was kind of improvising and moving around a little bit. I would be tempted to play them live for a scrimmage and let them get hit and actually see what your eyes are doing down the field when you know Tennyson's not going to just tap you. Because I would be a little scared, and I get they both played a little bit. Jackson played 5 games or whatever it was for USC. I would be a little scared that one of their main issues is something they don't even really have to worry about right now because nobody's going to touch them. You can't figure out what somebody's eyes are going to do down the field until they can get hit under the chin doing it. Just a theory.
No, it's an interesting thing and now you've gotten to the place where you're 2 weeks away from your opener and you've got some DBs that can lay the wood. And if you go, hey, everybody's live. But there were some plays last Saturday. And again, man, we're putting a ton of weight on one scrimmage. But Lane Kiffin said this is the biggest scrimmage, 2 biggest scrimmages. He kind of did this to himself. So, Lane, in the 0.1% chance that you're watching this, sorry. Hi. And hello.
Okay, you can call in, please.
Yeah. There were some plays in that deal where I thought, God, a quarterback would have gotten lit up right there. There had been a fumble right there. There were some ball security issues right there.
They were liberal with the whistle, and it kind of led to...
And at one point, I thought I saw Lane Kiffin go up to the official and go, let him play.
Oh, really?
Because early in the scrimmage, they were blowing the whistle.
Anywhere near them.
If you touched the quarterback. And he was kind of getting frustrated, and it was kind of like, let him play. And then there were some plays where it's like, he'd have gotten hit there. He'd have been sacked there. He'd have been sacked there. And they were completing balls 10 yards
down. They say it would have changed those numbers.
Yeah, because you finished, like, you're with the naked eye, you were like, I didn't think the offense looked very good. And then you looked at the passing numbers, and 16 for 21, 12 for 18, 7 for 7 or whatever. And you're like, what? But there were a lot of those plays that came on 3rd and long, like 3rd and 15, where they completed a 12-yard route. And just raw numbers looked better than they really looked. Because I didn't at any point during that scrimmage on Saturday go, man, these quarterbacks are tearing it up. Made some like Jackson made some good throws, but there were some plays where I was like, he'd have gotten sacked right there. Like that would have been an ugly play in real life against an SEC linebacker core. Somebody would have. That would not have been a play that anybody looked back and went, "Oh, that was great." No, you gotten hit right there. You even would have gotten thrown. You would have thrown the ball while getting hit a few times. There were defensive linemen that would have had shots on the quarterback, but they couldn't take those shots because of the rules. So, I don't know. But I'm with you. Next week, the story shifts to quarterback, and the story changes. Unless Lane goes, look, we don't know, and we're going to play them both in week 1.
Well, that's the only other side of the coin of what I'm just talking about is that even if you think Georgia Tech is competent, they have 2 essentially scrimmage games of teams they really can't lose to unless they just turn the ball over 7 to 9 times.
Well, can we be honest here?
Yeah.
If they lose a game in September, this is a freaking nightmare.
That's what I'm saying. So I guess my point is
you've got a whole month, really.
Yeah.
But Lane said he doesn't want to do that.
Yeah, no.
So unless he changes his message on Monday or Tuesday or whatever and goes, hey, look, we might have to do that. At which point you go, hey, this thing's closer than you think. Because classes start Monday. The clock officially kicks, but neither kid's quitting on Sunday afternoon, for God's sake. So, but if he doesn't name a starter next week, I think we have to be fair to Lane Kiffin here. He's been pretty transparent in the 3 seasons we've covered him. And so if he goes, I don't know who my quarterback is, I think you have to believe him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's coach speak.
He doesn't lie.
He
refuses to answer, but he doesn't lie.
Yeah, he might not answer a question, but he won't look at you and go, oh, no, he's good. And then the dude doesn't play for 6 weeks.
No.
He doesn't do that. He might say, I don't talk about injuries, at which point you can start to read into it, so he might be hurt.
Mm-hmm.
But he doesn't, he doesn't look at us in the eye and lie to us.
No.
We talked about this a little bit. Did you think anything about the CBS tweet where they played the music?
It was petty, which is fine. I mean, it's good for podcasters, but it's what you said this morning. Look, they benefited so much from that damn deal that, frankly, them acting like there's some sour grapes or spilled Kool-Aid, I don't want to hear it. Like, shut up. I mean, you had every opportunity to make that whatever, and they better be careful. Gary Danielson calling some, no offense, boring-ass Big Ten game.
Oof. I know, because it's a different style of play.
It's a different style of football, and he's awful. And
he is.
He's also a Big Ten grad.
Yeah, Purdue.
Yeah, that was one of the selling points, getting him on SEC games. They didn't want an SEC guy. Suddenly he can be a Big Ten guy? Or are they going to take him off the broadcast?
Big thanks to all SEC 26 for the super chat. Thank you.
See, I would want to find a new crew and not have that identifying thing with the Big Ten.
I would too. And look, I don't care about the song and stuff. It's whatever. But if I were them, I think I'd break out something fresh. I don't know that I'd break the dun da 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 because that's an
but it's their song. CBS's song.
It is,
but everybody.
But it's not. It'd be like if you found out that some other cat wrote Billie Jean.
Not his song.
If you hear Billie Jean, you go, that's Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Right? And if you found out that, no, it belongs to somebody else. Yeah, but if I hear it, I think Michael Jackson. You hear Little Red Corvette, you think Prince. Immediately. You don't think, hey, well, what if some other cat wrote that and owns it? I have no idea. But
think Dolly got pissed when Whitney Houston covered her?
Probably.
You think so?
Yeah.
Because she did a good job with it, and then you had that, and you went, oh, hell.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, all right. Your song now.
Whitney had pipes.
Oh. Yeah, I think I'm with that. Keep the song, lose the announcers, Jam. That's it. Change the announcers, change the feel. Whatever.
I sell the song.
To who? ESPN?
To whoever's going to play
ABC?
the ESPN game.
You would let that open on a different network at 2:30.
It's where it belongs.
Let it go home.
I mean, you hear that song and you think, okay, it's Florida, Georgia. The Iron Bowl.
We're settling in.
It's Ole Miss, LSU. It's Texas A&M, Alabama.
Yeah.
Here we go. Don't know what's going to happen, but it's probably going to be good. And sometimes if it's your team, right at 2:30, the hair stands up.
Oh yeah, you're like you're in now.
We're in this. Boy, here we go.
Yeah.
This is big.
Yeah.
Don't know how this is going to end, but it's going to be crazy. I know at 6 o'clock I'm going to be drained.
Well, because look, we always did the, everybody goes, hey, you got the 11, you were the JP game, everybody was laughing at or whatever. But it wasn't, hey, are we the 2:30 game? Are we the CBS game?
Yeah.
Who's the CBS game?
Yeah, it's not the 2:30.
No, you knew
SEC network.
Everybody knew what you meant.
Yeah.
Who's the CBS game?
2:30 CBS. It meant
that's the game.
That's the game.
Yeah.
It's the game that week. If Kentucky's in the 2:30 game, boy, Kentucky's having a special season, right? Tennessee, Alabama, Florida, Tennessee back in the day when it was Peyton Manning trying to beat the Gators. It was 2:30. It had meaning. So yeah. All right. No, we're gonna go to calls. Hang on, everybody. Be patient. Be patient. I'm putting up the number right now. I gotta pull up the Skype. There it is. Number's up, 662-259-8563. People get impatient.
On a Thursday.
I know. Just not even.
I can't imagine Gary Danielson calling a golf tournament. It would be great for the afternoon nap.
Yeah, no.
That's a good point. I mean, Nebraska Rutgers with the CBS song. Like, again, that's not going to be the CBS game ever.
No, it's going to be Ohio State, USC, or whatever. But play a different song because neither one of those teams sound like SEC
the Rose
teams.
Bowl on CBS?
Mm-mm.
It's not. Is it ESPN?
Yeah.
Yeah. The Sun Bowl was on CBS.
That's correct. New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
2:30.
No, they moved the date, though, right? Remember?
They did finally move it, probably because those guys didn't want to spend every New Year's Eve in El Paso.
Yeah, what's your team?
I've never been to El Paso, but I'll make sure the number's working. Because I get nervous when no one calls.
I mean, it's been like
I know.
70 seconds.
I'm just explaining to you my thought process. And it is a new number, so people are not used to it. It works. All right, so 662-259-8563. If you'd like to call in, we'd love to hear from you. Hey, who do we have?
Hey guys, it's Bobby. Give me like 10 seconds. I'm trying to pour a drink here real quick.
Oh, absolutely. What are you pouring?
Okay, so I went out of. Usually I'm more Tito's, but today they were the liquor shack right down the road. They were somehow out of Tito's, so I went and bought Sky. I'm not a big Sky vodka person, but it's okay.
You keep mispronouncing cat.
They don't have any cat head there. I've only tried cat head a couple of times.
Hold up, of course.
Yeah, it's gone.
Cat head's pretty good though, isn't it?
Oh, it's the best.
Yeah. I actually went to I think it was like 3 years ago. They had like a music festival in Jackson at the distillery, and I went to it. Cathead Jam. I went to it. I think it was maybe 2019, and it was really cool. I don't know if they've been doing it every year since. I'd like to go back.
Yeah, I don't think they've done it since then. Maybe we'll get back to normal here soon, and we can do stuff like that. I don't know but no, I don't think they've done it since all the COVID stuff.
Yeah, I hate to just sound like I'm a alcoholic here, but it's just been a very weird Thursday. Honestly, between the terrible news this morning, you reading that NCAA letter, which literally made me roll on the floor laughing. It's been a very strange day.
I thought it was a fairly dramatic reading. I got to be honest.
It was the War and Peace of PR letters.
I thought the job that I did reading it was fantastic. Personally, I gave myself a 10 out of 10.
The phrase, and I'm completely wording it wrongly. We've been for the student athlete and NIL from day one. That's what kind of did it for me. I'm like, oh, have you?
Yeah. You fought it for 10 years.
Because I'll be goddamned if a certain Ole Miss student athlete didn't sleep on a coach's couch one night, and we can't have that.
Absolutely not. Hey,
it was a fairly large plate of spaghetti. Okay, I don't know.
I mean,
Angela made spaghetti.
Angela Kiffin fixed him a plate of pasta. I mean, God only knows. I mean, was there meat in the pasta? Probably. I mean, think of the price.
She used the good cheese.
I bet she did. I bet they used that Parmigiano Reggiano where they grated it. I mean, can you imagine?
But hey, y'all are leaving out the two worst parts of that investigation. Not only did he sleep on a couch, he kept a truck a little too long while his was being repaired, right?
I mean,
and then
that gets
and then another player went and hunted on some booster's land.
Yeah, the booster on the hunting land. That's the part where the NCAA, I mean, if they had a leg to stand on, it was the rental car. It was the booster paying the stepfather. The fact that they included the crap about he spent the night at a coach's house. I mean, give me a freaking break. Who cares that he ate some pasta? What did she make? Some of that frozen bread that they stick in the oven? I mean, did he have a salad kit? I mean, that's the stuff that makes them look so freaking petty. But
he was lonely. The kid was literally freaking lonely when he got up to Oxford, and he just went over to the coach's house and played video games. And fell asleep on the damn couch.
That's actually the thing. It amazes me that it can even be a violation that you stay at your position or you're at your recruiting coach's house.
Yeah, the guy who recruited you, and he just played video games with Chris's kids. He just played some video games and ate some pot. Literally, all jokes aside.
They fed him.
All jokes aside, he ate a meal that was probably like $4.
Yeah.
Guardians of the game, man.
I mean,
Guardians of the game.
I'm gonna guess because you have a kid that age now. Yeah. I mean, I had kids that were once that age. You're not exactly fixing gourmet dinners. You're browning some ground beef. You're throwing in a can of ragu or something, and you're boiling some pasta. And you're just trying to put food in the belly. That's it. And I'm going to guess that 18-year-old Laramie Tunsil was not exactly what's the word I'm looking for, Chase? He wasn't a guy that was a restaurant critic. I mean, I'm going to guess
his palate was not overly.
I'm going to guess he wasn't a foodie. He might be today as a multimillionaire, but at 18, I don't think I'm stereotyping Laramie at all to go, he probably was like, just give me some chicken tenders.
I think he was probably very happy to have a family to hang out with for the evening and just play with the kid. Yeah, people.
Just to have people to be with and a hot meal.
Yeah. Killing some time before he moves in where he was going.
Well, because he couldn't move into the dorm yet.
Yeah.
It wasn't open. I mean, so they didn't put him up in a hotel. They put literally a 6'5", 290-pound dude slept on a couch. It wasn't the most comfortable accommodation. And he had spaghetti.
It would have been easier just to give him $120 and go stay down at the.
It wasn't like they took him to a gourmet restaurant on the square. They literally just cooked him dinner.
But they ate. He just ate part of their dinner. They didn't even fix him anything. They just had dinner.
The fact that they could remember that, no, we had spaghetti that night, probably because they had spaghetti like twice a week because they had little kids. And it wasn't fancy. It was just, when you have kids that age, you're just feeding them. Eat.
Speaking of, and I literally just thought about this. Who's the more gifted athlete, him or Robert Condici?
Ooh.
Because I made this post the other day because someone made a thread about Ole Miss football players that just never reach their potential. And I told them, I was like, guys, I think it gets forgotten because he was on teams that were really good and defensive lines that were really good. But if Robert Condici truly loved football and kind of walked the narrow path, he's not where he's at right now. I'll put it that way.
No, that's true. But we say straight athlete. I think we have to go, if you had Laramie versus Robert in some sort of like multi-sport competition, who are you taking? And I'm taking Laramie.
I think I'm taking Laramie.
I'd take Laramie. I think Laramie could work Robert on basketball court. It wouldn't even
that's
be close.
That's a gimme. It's
Yeah.
where it would be anything else that would be the question.
Robert would win in a track meet.
Yes, he's faster.
It's really close. Laramie has the best feet I've ever seen, but Robert was a phenomenal athlete.
Yeah.
Before all the problems.
I mean, that's what I'll never forget that 15 Bama game and being like, oh my God, this is what it finally looks like. If he could just put it all together. Because, I mean, literally, I think Herb Street even said it. He had like his third tackle for loss that game, and he was like, he's 300 pounds and moving like a cat. I was like, man, if he could have just bought in from day one, he could have been doing this for 2 years before.
Well,
the
real thing at that point, right, was to put him at fullback and give him the ball on a fullback dive.
Neal, I was trying to forget about that because I actually went to the Memphis game that year, and I was about ready to jump onto the field and drop kick Hugh in the face that game. That was the Arkansas game. I was just ready to go confront Dave Womack and be like, what the hell are we doing? But the Memphis game, I was like, oh my, this is so stupid.
Yeah.
This is you trying to look like you are the smartest person in the freaking room and being cute.
Yeah, somehow Hugh was able to pull off that the Laquan reverse pass was not the dumbest play of the day.
That's a good point.
Didn't we score on that?
Not on the play, right? Or do you try to get later and it screw up?
We scored on the Laquan pass. I think that was the first touchdown of the game.
Really?
I think that's right.
Really?
In the Memphis game, yeah.
Did they do it later and screw it up?
Didn't Ole Miss jump ahead like 14-0 in that game?
They did.
Yeah, we jumped on them because literally they did the little Laquan screen thing because God knows we've thrown Laquan like 1,000 screens, and the safety just bit, and they let Quincy go up the sideline, and Laquan just lofted it to him.
That was 2015.
Boom, 7-0.
2015.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, wow, we've been doing that play for 3 years now, and it finally worked. And
Florida,
against Memphis.
The Arkansas game at home.
Yeah.
Right.
The Brandon Allen game.
No, okay. Can we not? Can we not?
It was
I just told y'all
before they
lost
big in Arkansas in 14, right?
Yeah. That was the Bo 30-0.
Yeah.
That was when I found out my boy Devontae Kincaid was # not the answer.
Well, if that Arkansas game doesn't happen, you never sign Chad Kelly.
He would have gone to Indy freaking Anna.
Yeah, that's the truth. Is if that Arkansas game in 14 doesn't happen, you never sign Chad Kelly. They were not going.
I'll tell you what,
weren't going to do it.
Is it true that Les Miles looked at him and said no?
I'm not sure about that.
Because if you're Les and you said no, we're good, we've already got our guy. Because you remember, I think LSU the next year, that was the year everyone thought Fournette was going to win the Heisman early on.
Yeah,
and they were like 8-0 going into Tuscaloosa.
If LSU 15,
and then they got exposed for not having a quarterback.
Yeah, if LSU 15-16 had Chad Kelly, they probably win a national title.
Ooh.
No, they do.
Probably win a title.
Because that 15 team fell apart.
But they were loaded with talent.
Yeah, they looked a lot like some LSU teams we've seen recently.
Yeah, I mean they had dudes everywhere. Just didn't have a quarterback.
They went 9-3. They lost all 3 games in a row, and they got popped all 3 times. They were whatever, and they were 7-0, and they lost at number 4 Alabama 30-16. They lost to Arkansas at home 31-14, and then Ole Miss beat them 38-17 in Oxford.
Who was the quarterback on that?
On the 15 team?
Yeah, that wasn't Mettenberger, right?
Was that the first year he was gone?
I don't know.
Brandon Harris and Anthony Jennings.
I rest my case.
Oh, good God. Brandon Harris and Anthony Jennings went 9-3.
Yeah, Chad Kelly wins a title.
He does.
Yeah.
Hot take, if Chad Kelly's on that 14 team, I'm not saying they would have beaten Ohio State, but they're in the playoff, and they probably win one playoff game if it's not against Ohio State. I think they would have beaten LSU on the road. I think they would have beaten Auburn at home. They might have gotten popped against Arkansas, but they would have had State at home. And I don't know. I know the Egg Bowl is weird. I still think that defense was so good that they win. And then they would have gotten to play frickin' Missouri in Atlanta, who lost to Indiana that year, who Alabama just skull-dragged. And, I mean, they're in the playoff at 11-1.
That Arkansas game that year was so weird because that team was done when Laquan got hurt. And you could see it in warm-ups. It was cold and it was wet. And Ole Miss in the warm-ups, remember this, Chase? Ole Miss kind of looked super flat in the warm-ups, and Arkansas looked like, for whatever reason, they looked like they were just so freaking fired up to play a football game. It was a weird look. And then, sure enough.
That's just Fayetteville games, period, though.
Yeah, but it was like Fayetteville game on steroids that day. Arkansas was like out there because it was raining and cold, and they were like jumping around.
I mean, it was literally kind of like pig and slop. I mean, it was weird.
They were excited. I mean, you could see it. Like I was like, man, they're gonna like be exhausted when this warm up's over because they had so much energy in their warm up, and Ole Miss was like looking for jackets and stuff. It was just such a there was this disparity. Because I can remember telling somebody, is it too late for me to bet on this game? I mean, it just had this weird feel to it. And sure enough, I mean, that game was 30 to nothing. Yeah, that game was 30 to nothing, but it could have been whatever. It just didn't, the score didn't matter. It was, and then once Bo got hurt. But if Bo doesn't get hurt,
yeah,
we don't get flagged.
It seems like Kelly's only offers when Ole Miss offered were Indiana and Virginia Tech of Power 5. Like
I think he was headed to Indiana.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
Two things. Neal, am I crazy or just being negative Nancy that I think Ole Miss could lose 4 straight between LSU and Arkansas?
No, it's true. They could. I mean, those are 3 brutally difficult road games. I mean, I'm surprised at people that are fighting this part. Like, look, Ole Miss could win a couple of those games. Who knows, right? What happens? But so if you just play them one by one, if let's say Ole Miss is like 7-0 when they go to Baton Rouge, you don't think LSU is going to be pretty geeked up for that game, right? And the knock on LSU last year was that they were disorganized because Ed was just horrible. Well, Brian Kelly won't be disorganized, so that problem is addressed. So that's one.
If they're undefeated, they'll be fired up for that thing.
And then A&M's going to have Ole Miss circled. You don't think Jimbo's going to want to beat Lane after all the jabber and stuff? I mean, Lane's having fun with it, but Jimbo's probably not enjoying it as much. And then Ole Miss beat A&M last year. They're going to have that game circled. Winning at A&M is difficult. Ole Miss can do it. They've done it before. They can do it again. But, I mean, that's not a gimme. And then Alabama, I don't have to say any more. And then the Arkansas game, I mean, I'm going to guess Arkansas has Ole Miss circled. Arkansas probably looks back at that game in Oxford last season and goes, we lost by 1 point on one play. And it's their senior day, and it's late November in Fayetteville. It might be, again, it could be cold, it could be rainy, who knows, right? I mean, all of those are losable games. Anybody who says they aren't, is the odds are they won't lose all 4, but sure. I mean, is it possible they lose all?
If they go 1-3 in that stretch, I'll be happy because I honestly do think, even though there's a lot of hype with Kentucky, I still don't buy the Will Levis stuff. So I think they'll edge out Kentucky at home, and I think they're going to finally take the monkey off the back and beat Auburn. And
well, if that's the case, you're 7-0 going to Baton Rouge.
And then if they just win one of those games out of those 4, okay, you're 8-3 right there. And then I think they're going to beat State at home. People are like, well, it's the Egg Bowl. You never know. The way Ole Miss's defensive roster is built with that many defensive backs, and it sounds like they have a decent defensive line, that feels like a really good matchup for an air raid team.
Yeah, I think Ole Miss matches up well with State. I mean, I think if you offer Lane Kiffin 9-3 right now, he'd be foolish not to take it.
Oh God.
Yeah. Okay. I took him to the Sugar Bowl in year 2, and then I had to replace Matt Corral and Sam Williams, and we did the transfer portal thing like crazy, and I still won 9 games.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if you offered 9-3, yeah, I mean, How many coaches?
Yeah.
And before anybody goes, oh, that you're doing the little Ole Miss thing. How many coaches in the league would turn down 9-3 right now? 2. I mean, I think Jimbo would have to take 9-3 if you offered it to him. Because Jimbo,
I haven't done anything. Well, yeah.
Jimbo, like Jimbo,
done anything better than that.
Yeah, Jimbo needs to win 10, but if you offered him 9, he'd probably have to take it because there's no heat on him at 9-3. There's heat on him at 7-5.
I think there's a lot of heat on him at 8-4. Honestly,
I do too. Yeah, no, I mean, there's heat on him at 9-3, but it's just not intense heat. The only 2 coaches that would say no to 9-3
Kirby
are
and Nick.
Yeah, that's it. They would say no. That's not acceptable.
Yeah, no doubt. Chase, I did want to ask you about one thing again. It's Ole Miss baseball. I think you mentioned this last week or maybe this week,
Mm-hmm.
and it's about Mike. Do you think them finally winning the Natty is going to loosen him up as far as an in-game, like, just mindset? Like, he's going to be a lot looser? Because, the knock on Mike was always that he's a really tight in-game coach, and I feel like that – correct me if I'm wrong – I feel like that costs them a lot in the postseason. Do you think that's going to help him, or do you think he's still going to be same old Mike, or do you think he's kind of loosened up a little bit?
I thought that he was loose this year. Yeah, I mean, in general, yes. I think there is a difference in Mike Bianco's demeanor moving forward, having a championship, finally getting at least what he perceived to be a monkey off his back. Not just Omaha, but the title. I think that, his motivations when he took this job were not to get to Omaha. It was to win a national championship because, frankly, it had come so damn easy for him when he was at LSU for all that time as a player and a coach. So I thought he handled it well in a different way this year because, look, I don't think he heard a lot of noise, but in a lot of ways he kind of just said, I'm proud of what I've done, and I'm just going to coach this team the best way I know how and let the chips fall where they may, and I didn't think he coached overly tight. But, yeah, it's eternally loose now. I mean, there's nothing. I mean, it's just go coach baseball, try to win more games, and try to get back there and do it again. And now you've seen you actually can do it. I mean, it's kind of like that Georgia thing with the SEC shorts. I mean, you're not hoping anymore. You've seen it. You've done it in every damn way you can. So
that was a really funny episode.
It was going to be okay. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, Mike, sure, yes, his in-game management has cost them postseason games. It also is a touch overplayed at times too. Now, because I think it plays into, maybe not developing enough bullpen, and there's some tangible stuff too. But yeah, long story short, yes, I do believe it will do that for sure. Frankly, for perpetuity, I think just period, he will be a looser human being and coach moving forward.
Yeah, and honestly, I think him loose, he's a much more effective coach in tight games like that. Last thing, Neal, do y'all think I should take Vandy to cover against Hawaii next week?
Absolutely. Go Doors. I want Vanderbilt to win because I'm going to have fun with my weekly SEC ranking and 10 weekend thoughts. If Vanderbilt's 1-0 and the rest of the league is winless, they're
number one.
I get to put Vanderbilt number 1 for 1 week.
The Fighting Clark Lees, man.
And I get to see how many people don't have a sense of humor, which is kind of a fun.
I'm telling you, I'm going to bet that game, and I'm going to be full on anchor down that night.
Yeah, I mean, I like Clark. He's a nice guy, and so it's an impossible job. So I certainly hope he beats Hawaii. Otherwise, my God, at how bad of a season they're in for.
Another 2-10 probably. But all right, guys, I appreciate y'all taking the call.
Yep.
Y'all have a good one.
You too. That is where you get to see just how bad a sense of humor people have, though. If you rank Vanderbilt number 1 and the people come back with, if the people don't get that you're joking, you get to realize how many people are literally Meatloaf Monday, Taco Tuesday, no matter what.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
So hopeful. All right, there's the number, 662-259-8563. That was a great call from Vibin. Always good to hear from him. What else you got?
So I was scrolling around a little bit to see what we had. Arkansas trying to stave off a big loss in soccer up here right now. The Billikens trying to get it done at home.
At St. Louis, yeah. Braves making a pitching change, 3-2 in the 8th.
2 outs with a runner on second. Gave up a leadoff double, but he is now on second after a couple more
It's
outs.
been a fun game.
Oh.
Mets Braves, that could be a playoff series.
Oh, very much so.
Which would be a really good one, unless you're a Mets or Braves fan, at which point you'd hate it.
Hate it more for the Mets. Braves did get a ring last year. Takes the edge off.
Oh, that's true.
I mean,
Cole, how are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Oh, we're good.
Yeah, so Chase, Gary called a golf tournament one time. I was at a wedding, and we were watching it like in the hotel room, and I was like, is that Gary, like, on TV? And it wasn't football season, and all of a sudden it was. And so if you can imagine Gary, like his over-analysis, he said, let's go back to this. I want you to watch this guy. Hold his hands over. He's going to hit a fade. He's going to hold it against the wind, aim right at that bunker, go straight down. He's going to land it nicely. It rolls out. It's a good play. I mean, like he would go into football. I mean, it was the worst thing I've ever heard. They were trying to watch like other golf, like he would go back and like want to watch replay and show like, now watch his shoulder turn. Is he going to dip down, lower his head a little bit? And you're like, oh, this, I can't do this. It's awful.
when you have, as we said, when you have the style of football that they would be playing anyway, it just doesn't work. I mean, I think you have to cut Gary Danielson. I think he has to be out.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, he's got to be. Yeah, it's miserable. Hey, I know what it is, the new contract. I never saw it. You may have written it and I didn't see it, but what about how much money did Mike make with a bonus for winning the national championship this year?
I know that he got because I guess they don't add on top of one another. I don't think for the most part. I know he got $400,000 for being the national champion. So I guess he got some APR stuff or whatever that number is, and then with that, so his 2022 total compensation was somewhere around 1.63 probably.
Is that good? Can you make it off that?
I mean, I would assume he probably didn't. You know, he's all right. Probably get him a couple bottles of wine. I would think for the week, something like that. Yeah, I think he'd be all right. 'Cause, I mean, that's just norm now. It's his base is up to 1.625 starting next year.
Yeah, that's crazy. So he's right behind.
Tim Corbin is the only in front of him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that I didn't know that Tim Corbin stuff was released. I mean, I guess
it's not public.
People have dug and got it.
Yeah, I've always heard 2.1.
Yeah, enough people have hinted at it to make you think that they probably know the number.
What is your favorite Hugh Freeze like image? Mine is him with his hands up as the lateral is happening because he thinks the play is over.
Oh yeah,
that's my favorite. That and the 3 he's holding up to Bo Wallace has thrown the third interception in the LSU game. Is that the one where he called everybody in the office to show you all the play?
No, that was after
that was A&M.
That was after a Texas A&M game.
A Manziel game.
Yeah. He called me in, and he shows me the read, and he tells me where Bo should have thrown the ball and where Bo did throw the ball. And I said to him, I said, look, I'm a reporter, and this is good, and I'll write it, but are you really wanting to throw your quarterback under the bus publicly?
Yes.
And the answer was, yeah, kind of. I mean, he didn't say
not my fault.
He didn't say that. He's just like, people are criticizing the call, and the call was a good call. And I kept thinking to myself in that moment, look, I get that Nick Saban dog cusses his quarterback privately, but publicly he doesn't. And it was just a moment where you kind of got a glimpse into the downfall ultimately of Freeze.
Yeah, so that's interesting. I thought about this today when you were talking about when I was listening to the Lane Kiffin interview. like the reversal of that, like Lane Kiffin and Hugh Freeze, the juxtaposition, I guess, is just fascinating. Like with Christianity, with how they use social media, with how they think about others, how they view them. Like it's. I mean, it would make some, pretty good long form.
Well, here's what you have to know, right? Here's the difference between the two guys. And it's interesting because I don't know Lane at all, and I felt like I knew Hugh pretty well. Hugh read everything that anybody wrote. And if you wrote something that was kind of critical, he got super sensitive. He wanted to talk about it. He wanted to know why you wrote it. I think I could write a column that says Lane Kiffin is, and I could just run a list of negatives. And I'm 99.99% sure that I would never hear a word from him about it, nor would he treat me any differently than he does today.
Yeah.
I just think and I don't know what that says about Lane other than he understands that there's going to be criticism.
I think he understands that it's a job and you just do your job more than maybe most coaches in the country, that it's just, hey, look, I'm winning, and if I do, none of the other crap matters.
Yeah.
If I don't, none of the other crap matters. And if they want me to coach forever, I'll stay until I find something else. And if they want to fire me, okay, pay me my money and go. It's cool. I mean, he's not going to throw the desk over. Cool. All right, sweet.
I mean, I think as long as I could write anything critical about him that wasn't like super personal, and for the record, I would never write something personal. But I mean, I think I could write, hey, that was a bad play call, or that wasn't the best preparation, or whatnot. And if anything, he'd probably agree with it, but he would just never really get into it. Like he just not the way he's wired. And Hugh's the exact opposite. Hugh could not handle criticism. It's why when people talked about Hugh getting the LSU job, I would just say, man, you guys just don't understand what a bad fit that is. It's like people talk about the Auburn job right now. Like that's the rumor that's out there in the coaching business and the agent business, is that Hugh Freeze is on the very short list if Auburn makes a move with Brian Harsin. And I just look at it and go, good luck.
Yeah, though that fan base would tear him apart.
I mean, if he lost, and he would do a lot of the hokey stuff that they like and all of that, and maybe it would work. And if you win, it doesn't matter. Like, because we've talked about this at Ole Miss. When Hugh was winning, I didn't get one email about anything involving Hugh Freeze. This is the God's honest truth. And when Ole Miss lost the Egg Bowl in 16, I think it was 62-27 or something like that, I got like 5 emails from people with details about his personal life.
55-20.
Yeah.
55-20. It was a blowout. Yeah, a 5-touchdown loss. And all of a sudden, all these people are like, hey, did you know about this and this and this and this? And it's like, whoa. So it is at the I feel like I've said this for a long time. It is a scoreboard business, and make no mistake about it. It totally is.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, he searches his name on Twitter. I mean, that's the worst, is when people don't even tag him and he finds it.
Yeah,
like that's how diseased he is.
And look, if you told me that Lane searches his name on Twitter, I'd totally believe it. But Lane doesn't take the bait.
Yeah. Y'all talked about the 14th season a little bit earlier. I went back and looked at that. Oh, I'm sorry, the 15th season. I went back and looked at that season. It was actually the other day because I was trying to figure out when somebody's wedding anniversary is, because remember they got married on one of those games, and I was just kind of looking through the season and was like, man, that was a weird season. Like the Florida loss with the guy that ended up getting kicked off the team for performance enhancing drugs. I don't know if y'all remember that game, but like early in it, there was Will Greer. Is that it?
Yep.
So early in that game, he dropped back and was about to throw and I don't know, one of our linebackers or linemen like put a shoulder into his body, and he's on his back foot getting hit and throws. And I'm like, oh, man, this is about to be picked. This is fantastic. And hits a guy on a rope like 40 yards downfield. I was like, that's not normal. And then you come out of that game, and then you have the Bama win. You have the loss to Memphis with the Robert Kimdichie stuff. Then you have the 4th and 25. You go on. It's just the season was all over the place. Like I forget all those things were in the same year.
It's what led to boring bowl games because at that point it's like, whatever. Just come in. Nobody cared at all at that point.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll let you guys go. Chase, there's a new bourbon in the state called Penelope.
Okay.
You used to be able to get it in Tennessee. Try it out if you see it. It's they source MGP juice mainly, but it's good. It's good stuff. They're really good blenders. Have some pretty good specials. So the black label, the white label's trash. It's 80 proof and tastes like water. The black label's really good.
Okay. Black, not white. Got it.
All right. See you guys.
Thanks, Cole. What are you going to say?
Nothing. I was reading Papa Beast in the stream. I was going to say, yeah, I believe that to be true, but then I was like, I don't know that for 100% sure where I want to actually say it out loud, so I just kind of stopped.
About the rugs stuff?
No, about Pete.
Oh, yeah, I see it now. Okay. Yeah.
Everything seems to be better there, but I don't know particular instance.
Hey, who do we have?
Yo, it's Grind.
What's up, Grind? How are you?
Oh, man, I've got some goddamn women dilemmas. I've got this Auburn football that I know going to be bad. I'm just hanging in there, man. I'm hanging in there.
How do you know it's going to be bad?
Come on, Auburn?
Yeah. How do you know it's going to be bad?
Man, like I told my brother, man, if I want to be disappointed, I just go talk to tens at a bar all night. Goddamn. If I want to be disappointed this football season, man, at least I may have a little shot with that. I don't think. Okay, let me say, unless Ryan Brown, he may have like some little sorcerer rock, some little stone in his closet or something. But when he came on last week and said that TJ Finley was the guy, and at that moment he wasn't, and they had the scrimmage and everything like.
I think he is the guy right now.
Oh Lord.
I mean, I've talked to 2 or 3 people around Auburn who say that if they played a game this Saturday, it would be Finley.
And so, how can you tell? And so how can I expect anything other than bad results?
Maybe he's got enough experience in the league to not lose games.
No.
Maybe he's got enough experience to be a game manager, and maybe there's enough on defense and with the running game. There is some concern about Bigsby apparently with an injury. Is that right?
I think so, man. To be honest, I haven't checked anything Auburn in the past 2 days, man. I'm kind of like there almost. I'm all it takes is the first big loss, and I'm out. I'm done. So it's like I'm trying to not to hype myself up and get psyched up because I don't even want to go through that this year.
All right, as an Auburn fan, how would you feel about Hugh Freeze being your coach?
Hell no.
Why?
As an X's and O's, he's all right.
Yeah, he's good. He's a good coach, sure.
But I think he's good at X's and O's because his recruiting is unbalanced. And I think he showed that at Ole Miss. I mean, for what Matt Luke. I mean, I know people. I know like fans hate him, but he left a very balanced roster even during probation period.
He did.
And so I mean, I think that's an indictment on Hugh Freeze a little bit. And so
the truth is, one of the reasons Lane Kiffin chose Ole Miss over Arkansas is because he thought that Ole Miss had a better roster.
Yeah,
I mean,
they did.
It wasn't the whole Fayetteville over Oxford or traditions or any of that stuff. It was roster.
And speaking of roster, that's why I don't think the only way Auburn wins 8 games this year is if the defense is top 10 and they're just able to run the ball for over about they're probably averaging over 200 yards a game with Tank Bigsby and Jarquez Hunter. They're able to move people out the way and dirty games up. That's the only way they're gonna get the 8 wins. It's not gonna look any different.
Yeah, and it's just so hard to do that in modern. It feels like today to win in the SEC, you've got to have a balanced offense. The defenses are too athletic and too well coached. If you're one-dimensional, they'll just take the dimension away.
Yeah, and to be honest, man, I think as crazy it is, I think it's all about receivers now. I think if your receivers aren't top notch, you can kiss any chance of being elite goodbye. I think you need an elite receiving core now these days in order to really be something. I think if you're missing it, and I know Georgia threw a wrench in everything just because they had the best defense we've ever seen. But I don't think that can be duplicated by many other programs. Even Alabama stopped doing that way. So, I mean.
Well, if you go by the whole college football is a NFL light sport, and I kind of subscribe to this. In the NFL, the wide receiver is far more valuable than the running back.
Yeah. Yeah. And I agree with that because you have to be able to stretch defenses vertically.
Yeah, in the college game, it's different than the NFL game, but it's not that damn much different, right? I mean, there's a lot of similarities.
Yeah, the players are just worse. That's the only difference.
Yeah, exactly. But the game itself is similar. I was talking with Tyler about this earlier today. We were talking about NBA and college basketball for some reason. I don't know how we got there. Beats me. But I was saying that, if you watch a college basketball game, even a high-level college basketball game, let's say you watch Auburn, Kentucky, right? It looks totally different. If you watch that game at, say, 2 o'clock, and then at 6 o'clock you turn on, I don't know, Blazers, Clippers.
Thunder and Knicks.
Yeah, whatever. Whatever you turn on, it's a completely different game. It's a completely different game. It doesn't look the same. It's why there's not – like if you're an NBA fan, you typically are not a college basketball fan. But if you're a college football fan, with rare exception, you typically like the NFL.
Yeah.
And if you're an NFL fan, you like watching college football. If you're an NBA fan, it's hard to watch the college game.
It is, bro. It is. And when you watch NBA, like I watch a lot of college basketball because I bet on it. And when you watch the NBA, it looks like it's like rubbing your hand over this rough surface and then rubbing your hand over this glass smooth surface. It's like, dog, the way they move on the court is just totally different. It's not
the space,
the game, all these stoppage.
Yeah, the spacing, the timing, the flow, it's totally different. Absolutely.
Yep. Before I let you guys go, man, I want to get some over-under predictions for the Ole Miss offense defense.
Okay. All right, here we go.
I got some numbers for you guys. These stats, you guys are going to see how I do it, but these stats come from NCAA.com, from their football website and stuff like that.
We trust you.
All right. So first we'll do offense. For this season, and now they're going to be per game unless I let you guys know otherwise. So Ole Miss offense, passing yards per game, 237 yards, over under.
Under. Slightly over, but not much.
Slightly over?
240s.
Okay. 237, just so you guys know, was good enough for 61st last year.
Yeah, I'll get.
And
go ahead.
Ole Miss passing offense was at 273 yards at 23rd in the country last year.
Okay.
So it's just to give you guys you expect them to drop off. So that's just get you in your mind.
I expect to drop off.
Okay. Well, okay. So you expect from 20. So you expect Ole Miss to go from 23rd to worse than 61st, basically.
He thinks they're going to fall into the back half of college football from
a passing game. I do. I have questions at quarterback and receiver.
Sure.
Okay. Ole Miss rushing yards per game, 208.
That's a lot.
It's a lot.
But if you've got them under on the other, if you don't have them over, they're not winning 8 games.
208, though. God, that's a bunch.
But it's not as much as we think in a
probably not.
standpoint.
I'm going to go over barely.
That's really close. I'll go over, but now all of a sudden I'm worrying myself because I got him at averaging 450-something yards a game, which is a little weird. But go ahead.
Okay, just to let you guys know, I'm gonna ask you guys about the over under this year. Then I'm gonna give you guys a reference to where Ole Miss was last year.
Of course.
That was actually Ole Miss rushing total last year. They averaged 208 yards per game, and they were 19th in the country.
Oh, 19th.
And first in the SEC.
So under. Yeah, I think they have better backs, but I don't know that they're going to be able to stretch the field the same way. I would lean toward a little under.
And they don't have a running quarterback necessarily. Maybe they do. I don't know.
Yeah, hell, who knows?
Okay, 2 more for the offense. Total yards per game, 438.
It's about right. I'm going to go slightly under.
Yeah. Same.
Okay, last year Ole Miss was up there. They were number 6 in the country with 481 yards per game.
Yeah.
438 yards would be good enough for 25th in the country last year.
Yeah, I'm under. I think if Ole Miss has a great season, it's going to be because they have a great defensive season.
Okay, and the last one for the offense, points per game, 27.5.
This is for the whole season?
Over.
Yeah, for the whole season.
Probably over because they're going to light up like Central Arkansas and stuff. I mean, over, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. That's probably about right.
Well, these are the over-unders for a reason. They're all about right.
I mean,
yeah.
I'll go over because if you told me they scored 70 against Central Arkansas, I'll buy it.
Okay. For reference, last year Ole Miss scored 32 points per game and was 29th in the country.
Yeah.
And 27.5 would have been 61st.
Oh, yeah. So I'm good with that.
I'm good with the over now.
I think they're a total top half off.
29, 30 points a game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. All right. You got that knocked out with the offense. These are defense now. It is 2 more for the defense.
Okay.
Just because Ole Miss was pretty solid in some other categories last year. Passing yards allowed per game, 212 yards for this season.
Right there.
A little over. That's not much.
That's not much.
Yeah, a little over.
You know what? I'll play along and go under.
Okay.
Last year, Ole Miss was 68th in the country last year, giving up 230 yards per game.
Okay.
212 would have been good enough for 41st last year.
Okay. I can buy that. I feel good about that.
Okay. Rushing yards allowed, 135.5.
Over.
Because of linebackers, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, over.
Okay. I get that because last year Ole Miss was 105th in the country with 191 yards per game given up.
And that was with 2 NFL linebackers.
Mm-hmm.
And an NFL defensive end. Sam was really good. If Sam Williams doesn't have off-field stuff, he's a first-round pick. He had an elite season.
No, yeah, he did. And matter of fact, since you did that, I'll just get to this one. Now, this is a season stat.
Okay.
Total sacks for the Ole Miss defense, 31.5.
Under.
I had to think about it for a minute. Under.
Okay. Last year, Ole Miss was 27th in the country with 38 sacks.
Yeah.
31.5 would have been good enough for 48th.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm okay there.
Okay.
For a couple different reasons.
And for the people who are listening at home, I mean, when I say under, I'm not saying like under, like, 10, 12 sacks under. I just think like, what was the number?
Yeah. Because I will say, yeah.
If you told me 30, I'd be like, okay, yeah, I get it.
So are you saying probably about like 20, 26.5, 27 sacks maybe?
Yeah, like 20.
Somewhere between 26
27 and 30. Yeah, sure.
Okay. Turnover margin, plus 6.5 throughout the season. This is for throughout the season. At the end from game 1 to the last game that Ole Miss plays, would the turnover margin be plus 6.5 over under?
I'll go over. They do a little better than that, I think.
What about you, Chase?
I'm thinking under. No, I'm
Okay. Last year, Ole Miss was 29th in the country. Last year, Ole Miss was 21st in the country with a +8 turnover margin.
Yeah.
Yeah. You won.
6.5 would have been good enough for 29th last year.
Yeah,
no.
under's the safer bet. Sure.
Yeah. Quarterbacks
Under
are going to struggle a little more than Matt last year.
Yeah. I do think
Frankly, I'm a little for the couple backs that I'm not saying they're going to fumble all over the place, but they got to handle ball security a little bit.
Yeah, you've got issues with one of them in particular. I know you do.
And the one I like, but yeah.
Okay, this is the last one right here. I appreciate you guys for letting me do this. Get some knowledge from you guys. Total points for the Ole Miss defense given up per game.
Okay.
22.5.
God.
Ooh.
That's your best over-under of the day, by the way.
That is so
because I had numbers in my head and I went, oh, shit.
Yeah, the number in my mind was 23. I'll go over. 22.5, it's hard to get.
That's
if you get under that, I got to think you're really winning. And I just I've got 8 and 4 in my brain, so I'm gonna go slightly over.
Yeah, I think it's somewhere 23, 24. Maybe.
Okay. Just for reference, 22.5 would have been good for 33rd in the country last year.
Yeah. Okay.
And Ole Miss last year gave up 25 points per game and was 52nd in the country.
Yeah. Of note, though, after Arkansas, they only gave up, I think, 19 a game.
And of note, after Arkansas is when Mark Robinson really stepped up, he's not there anymore.
He doesn't play for the Rebels.
So it's kind of complicated.
He plays for the Steelers now.
Yeah, and is going to play a lot. Like Mike Tomlin loves Mark Robinson.
Yeah.
Loves.
Yeah. He was a dude like he was he flew around the field and made plays for Ole Miss. My bad, you guys. I lied to you. Is one more left. His total yards for the defense is 355.5 per game.
That's not much. So I think I'd go over.
220, 130. Yeah, a little over. Touch over.
Okay. Ole Miss. I threw these numbers out just to see how much better you guys think the Ole Miss defense will be this year, and how less productive. I'm not going to say worse, just how less productive you think Ole Miss offense may be this year. And so yeah, I kind of got a gauge on what you guys think. Are you guys thinking what I'm thinking? Would Ole Miss take a lot of unders early on in the season?
The problem with that early in the season is it's those games where if they go absolutely try to beat the hell out of everybody to gain a little bit of just continuity and confidence, I wouldn't be shocked by it. If somebody said they beat, hell, they could beat Troy 45-0. I don't know.
Yeah, I think
45-0. Would that even be but that wouldn't be a over though.
No, it was 59. That's a good point. It was 59. It's a cover. It was only 23 on the line.
I like some early unders, I think, with Ole Miss.
Yeah, that's what I like. I really like the under for the Ole Miss Georgia Tech game. I think Ole Miss kind of suffocates Georgia Tech, as that game goes on.
Yeah.
But I appreciate you guys, man. I'm gonna keep enjoying the show, and you guys have a good night, man.
Thanks, Brian. Appreciate you. I don't know what the hell I expect. I just keep going back to 8 and 4.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
I just go back to 8 and 4. I think they're 8 and 4.
I guess both these things finished up kind of as we're finishing up.
Yeah.
You got Braves 3-2 over the Mets, and then you have I guess the Billikens over the
Billikens
Razorbacks.
pulled it off. Yeah,
it was a home game for them though.
It was. Yeah, they celebrated.
It's a
big win. Hey, who do we have?
Hey, this is Sean.
Hey, Sean, how are you?
Apparently Paul is alive. Hey, really want to start out by saying that you guys have put out a lot of content lately, and it has been really enjoyable to listen to be completely honest.
Hey, Sean.
A lot of content between you and Siskey and all that. It's just great.
Is it SEAN or SHAWN?
Oh, SEAN. The only way you could really spell it.
I understand.
But hey, another thing, I don't know if you guys are interested in it. I just now tuned into the podcast. Kind of want to go through since I started following Ole Miss, some of the greatest and worst things that's happened. And like to start off, I'd like to say what really got me into Ole Miss football, it might have been a loss, but it was the Arkansas Ole Miss game. The only reason I bring this up is basically because there's been debate about the greatest Ole Miss history, the greatest things that have happened in Ole Miss history, and a lot of people want to put the baseball series in there, of course, because we won a national championship. But you know, I go through it in my head a lot for what I've been through, and what really stuck with me was the multiple overtime game against Arkansas when I was a kid. I mean, I'm 30, so I mean that was probably what I was like, 12, something like that. And that really stuck in my head. Even though we lost it, it's really what got me stuck on Ole Miss football. And then you get through the years, and not many great things, but I mean, we beat Florida, of course. They end up winning the national championship. But I go back, and people want to compare the national championship in baseball to, I don't know, the 2014 game against Bama. And when you're 20 rows up in the student session, and you see that happen, and you sit up there in the stands and you watch all the mayhem of what occurred that day. It really, I don't know, I've been talking to buddies about this because I had buddies with me there, and it just resonances in my heart, just, I don't know, a lot, because I was in Omaha for both games that we won. I mean, I enjoyed it. Also, the back home runs was literally insane. But the insanity of basically tearing down goalposts and then dragging them through the town, it was just magical. It's hard to compare the two, but if I had to put my vote out there, it'd be that. But then if you get into the worst things that we've seen, Jacksonville State, terribleness, absolute terribleness. I remember everyone left at halftime thinking we'd win. And Black Monday, it's kind of been such a roller coaster being an Ole Miss fan. But I've seen a lot of threads about the greatest of all time, and I like the baseball comments. I like it. I was there, saw the ceremony on the field, clapped the hands with the players walking through. I don't know. I don't know. I guess y'all were probably at that game we beat Bama in 2014. Utter mayhem. And I was at the Texas A&M game this year where, I mean, goodness gracious, that was awesome. What it comes down to. Just been a lot of times, like especially went to the Florida game where we beat them against Tim Tebow. Like it's just a lot of things I've been there to see. And I don't know, debate's up. But I'm really not there to put the baseball above that Alabama game. I know it just means more because we'd lost so many years in a row, and it was a lot of fun to rush that field and take down goalposts. Just really was utter mayhem. I don't know. Just wonder what y'all's thoughts on it are. It's been a lot of ups and downs.
Thanks for the call. Appreciate it. I mean, I do have a little bit.
We're going to call her. Let Chase answer. That deserves Chase's thoughts.
There's a couple times where I was going to say something. He was on a roll. I didn't want to mess it up. If you don't think the baseball celebration or the baseball national talk can be number one, then Black Monday can't be the worst thing that happened either. It can't, like, if one can't be the highest, the other one can't be the lowest. And frankly, Jacksonville State wasn't that big of a deal looking back. It didn't mean anything.
It didn't matter.
It's nowhere near some of the other things that we've already mentioned today. That's an overrated bad moment because the team sucked. It wasn't going to matter.
Yeah, they were. Even if they had won that game, they were still gonna. That team was still gonna.
Go ahead, caller.
Oh, hey, caller. Who do we have?
It's Shaggy.
Hey, Shaggy.
Earlier today, when you talked to the Outkick guy, he said that he just texted Lane and got a response at, I don't know, midnight or so.
Yeah.
What's keeping you from doing that?
I'm not a national guy.
But you have his phone number, right?
Yeah.
Why couldn't you just text him and try?
I've texted him before. He does not respond.
Ah, okay.
I'm not a national guy. It's not. And listen, I get it. I've said this all along. If you can get national exposure, you don't need local exposure. Like, this isn't picking on Matt Luke, right? But Matt couldn't get. There wasn't the guy that works at Outkick or the guy that works at ESPN or the guy that works at Barstool wasn't interested in Matt because Matt doesn't produce clicks. Lane does. And so when Lane opens up in a press conference earlier in the day, one of those guys might follow up like Trey did and end up getting
the more complete story.
The more complete story, because I'm not going to reach as many people as Outkick is. I'm just not. I mean, it's not me criticizing myself or whatever. It's just the truth. I'm not going to reach as many people as when Gene Wojciechowski comes to town from ESPN, or if Dan Patrick wants him on his show. I mean, I'm just not. I didn't get that far in my career for whatever reason or whatever. It doesn't mean that I'm a terrible person or whatever. It just didn't happen. And so if you're Lane and if you're going to give somebody that amount of time and because you want exposure for your program or yourself, or because if you want to be altruistic, and believe it or not, I kind of give him the benefit of the doubt here, you truly want to impact lives, are you better off talking to me or the guy at Outkick?
I get that. It seems weird that he would actively ignore local people. I don't know. I mean, you've said it since he got there that he basically does. I don't know. That struck me as weird.
He just doesn't need us. I mean, we're already there. I mean, we already give him what he wants locally. He doesn't need to give us more time. Now that might change, right? I mean, like, let's say they go 6-6 this year. And for the record, I don't think they will, but for kicks and giggles, let's say they go 6-6 or they go 5-7. Well, the national people aren't going to be hanging on every word if he's 5-7, 6-6. And at that point, he might need local people. But he just won 10 games. And he goes into this season, he's got the number 1 ranked transfer class, and people are interested in him, and he's got a compelling story, and he's kind of opening up about himself and about his family. And, he talked about going through a divorce and getting fired and his daughter moving in, and her friends are over there and they're watching a Nicholas Sparks movie, and that's a national kind of thing that he can get national exposure for himself and for his program. And I get it. And I think there are people on the beat, frankly, who probably kind of hold that against him a little bit, but neither the two people that you're talking to now, we both understand it.
Okay. Well, I was just curious. Appreciate you taking my call.
No problem.
Yes, sir.
Have a good one. Bye.
You too. Bye. Oh, man. That was a good laugh.
Yeah, I kind of hate it when the last call.
That was good. Webb, how are you?
Hey, Neal. How are y'all doing?
We're good. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it.
Just wanted to thank you guys for all your stuff this year, and appreciate everything. And we will give you guys just kind of quick question: Who's going to be the kicker this year? Any idea?
Yeah, it's going to be Ruiz.
Jonathan Cruz.
Did I say Ruiz? I meant Cruz.
Yeah,
Jonathan Cruz. He's been terrific in camp. I think of the kicks we've seen,
he looks really damn steady inside about 48 yards.
He's 12 for 13, and the one that he missed, the snap was kind of high.
Yeah, 4-year starter.
Great.
Yeah, I mean, he looks from 35 to 48, just super steady. And he can kick longer than that. We just haven't seen it.
In his career, he's 5 of 6 from 50 and out.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's great. Got some peanuts for you guys on the way, and appreciate everything. And y'all have a great year, and appreciate all your hard work.
Absolutely. Appreciate you as always.
Thanks, Webb. Appreciate you.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
All right, we'll stop there. It's 9:20 on a Thursday. We'll be back
Thursday.
We'll be back next Thursday. So we've got we'll bring this to you in podcast form tomorrow and on Friday. Chase will have coverage from Ole Miss football tomorrow, and then 10 weekend thoughts on Sunday. And then I anticipate, sort of like Chase hinted at earlier, I sort of anticipate a pretty newsy next week.
A newsy next week.
I do, and then
it'll be game week after that.
It'll be game week after that. So we got a lot coming to you. There's a lot of content up at the site. I've got a Mind on My Money with Martin Palomo. I've got a McCready and Siskey with Tyler Siskey. That's up as well. Chase has posted a Brian Rippey Wrights podcast as well. So we'll get this to you as well. And then, we'll get into another week. Pete DeWeese show in about a week. Butcher versus the spin instructor coming up as well. And then we'll be resuming the Troy Brown show, the Mason Brooks show. So we got a lot of stuff coming your way here really soon at MPW Digital. And we'll have full coverage of Ole Miss football. I'm expecting a commitment on Sunday afternoon from Aiden Williams. Kind of have some content getting ready for you there. Yeah. And there's another commitment that could be coming up with Caden Lee, the wide receiver from Georgia. I don't know a time on that or a date. It might be months. It might be days. I don't know. But there's stuff coming. So we'll have coverage to you at rebelgrove.com. And until next time, for Chase, I'm Neal. Have a great weekend. Talk to you soon.